Hey, everybody. We are broadcasting from the Connecticut River Delta. You're tuned into the 104th SongBike Guitar Q&A live stream. Sorry, we're starting a minute late here. I jinxed it. I mentioned in the chat that I thought we'd start on time. To jinx something means to bring bad luck upon yourself. So never say something like, what could possibly go wrong? Hey, everybody. Welcome. I'm here. You're here. Let's do this. My name is Jonathan. I'm here for your guitar-related questions. When you have a question, put it in the chat with a bunch of question marks in advance so I know your question's aimed at me. In between your questions, so much to talk about. We have a poll question. The poll question is, are you experienced? What do I mean by that? When you think of your circle, whether it's your family and friends, are you the most experienced guitar player you know? Are you the least experienced guitar player you know? Or are you like a lot of us, you're somewhere right in the middle? You know some really good players, you know some people who are just starting out, you find yourself in the middle there somewhere. That is our poll question for those of you who are watching in the chat. What do we have going on today in our live stream? Our feature called WTF, which means our weekly teaching feature. What happened in my teaching week? We got the Monkees. The Monkees happened in my teaching week. Metallica happened in my teaching week. Some of the highlights of my in-person or online lessons, things that happened this past 7-day period that I'm going to share with you. I think you'll get a kick out of those. We're going to talk about everybody from Black Sabbath, the Left Bank, Bruce Springsteen, John Cena. John Cena, wait, isn't he an actor? Yeah, we're going to talk about John Cena. We have 2 student quotes of the week. A segment I like to call Should I Sell Out? A segment I like to call Who's in Town? We have our own virtual guitar play-along, a classic. This week, you might need a capo, so grab a capo. If you don't have one handy, grab one right now. We're going to talk about the gambler. You got to know when to hold them. Did I mention Black Sabbath? Did I mention Carol Kaye? Carol Kaye is in the news. Why is Carol Kaye in the news? There's a lot to talk about in the world of music this week. I'm going to scratch the surface a little bit. I want to say hello to everybody who's in the chat. Joseph, David, Chaz, Charlie, another Joseph. We have Joseph from Oklahoma City as well. Thank you, Josephs 1 and 2. Randy, checking in from Colorado. Barry, checking in from Ireland. David from San Diego. Scott, 3 weeks away. We missed you, man. Thanks for being here, Scott. Matt is here. So yeah, a lot to do today. A lot to do. Joseph, you've been playing guitar. Joseph G, you've been working on your bar chords for hours. That's good, but you got to shake that hand out, right? Even if you're doing it on a nice skinny Fender guitar neck, you're working your bar chords. We all respect your work ethic, but shake that hand out. You don't want to hurt yourself spending too much time on bar chords. So everybody, I have a bunch of things to share with you, and I want to get right down to it. What should we do first? Monkees or Metallica? How about Metallica? Let's do Metallica first. Why not? I'm going to pull up the Metallica riff here. Let me see if I got this ready to go. As I pull this up, let me tell you what the heck I'm talking about. One of my students came into her lesson, said, can we do Seek and Destroy by Metallica? And who am I to say no to Seek and Destroy? I'm not going to say no to a Metallica riff. Doesn't mean I knew the riff. It means I had to learn it fast, man. I had to make it happen. So let's do this, the Seek and Destroy riff from Metallica. Now you might say, awesome. I was hoping we'd play Seek and Destroy today. You might alternatively say, I'm not a big Metallica guy. And that's all right too, because I think you'll get a kick out of this riff. Okay, what do you need for this? You need a guitar pick. You need the ability to pick down and up on, on demand, right? Down, up picking. Down, up picking is the key to playing with a pick. Being aware of it, being prepared to do a down or an up at a moment's notice. You know what I'm talking about. So let's do this. Here it comes. I'm going to send this. Okay, good. And I'm going to put up on the screen. Those of you who are not super familiar with Metallica's output, don't worry about it, because I think you'll get a kick out of the actual riff. So this falls into the category that I like to call WTF, meaning it's a weekly teaching feature. Okay, got it. Let's see if I can get up on the screen right now for you guys. Excellent. That one. Okay. If your screen goes dark for a moment, do not worry about that. Okay, I'm going to set this aside. You guys see that okay on the screen? I have a better way of doing it. Tell you what, I'm going to stop sharing, and we're going to do this a different way. Like a lot of hard rock riffs, what you're about to see here doesn't involve like typical chords, right? C, A minor, and so on. There we go. How about that? And this. Okay, I bet that's going to look better, you guys. Okay, so what do we have here? You heard me playing this as our show opened. We got the open A string, 2 downstrokes, a little palm muting. You get that thumpy sound. I'm doing it on a vintage harmony acoustic guitar. This is not how the song is meant to be played. It's how we're going to do it. When you're a guitar teacher, you don't go shopping for a new guitar just because your student wants to learn a Metallica riff. Okay, notice, even before I start, my index finger is right there waiting, 7 on the G string, 7 on the 3rd string. I'm going to do a hammer on from 7 to 8. There's my middle finger hammering on to 8. Notice my 7 is still down, right? And the very next note is back to a regular 7. So far we have easy peasy, right? I'll do it again. Now my index finger is going to hop over to the D string 7, 4th string 7. Now I call that a parallel movement. I did on the 3rd string, and a moment later I'm doing on the 4th string from the beginning. Easy peasy, right? First 2 fingers. Now watch out. I'm about to shift my fretting hand into 5th position for that last little 087 business. And here's why. I need 5s, 8s, and 7s. I don't want to work too hard. So I set my hand up for success. My fretting hand is in 5th position, meaning my index finger is ready to go with those 5s that I need. My ring finger is ready to go with the 7s. My pinky is hovering above the 8s. Life is good. Okay, so that last measure of the first line, 0, 8 with a pinky, 7 with a ring finger. Now, you can leave that ring finger down if you want to. You don't have to, but you're going to be coming right back to that note. You can lift that ring finger off. Just know that you're going to come back to it in a millisecond. Hey, there's another parallel riff. 5, 7, 5, 7. That's my name for it. Parallel. You do not have to call it a parallel riff. I'm not sure if it even makes sense based on the literal definition of parallel. But you see where I'm coming from? You do the same thing using 1 pair of strings and then another pair of strings from the beginning, slow motion. There's my index right at 7 on the G string. Not bad, right? Easy peasy, you know? Okay, line 2. We got some double stops there. Whatever you do, be efficient with those 5s. My pointer finger, I'm just clamping down, putting all my pressure on the 5 on the G string, 5 on the D string. And then what's comfortable for me is reaching up to 7 on the D and the G with my ring finger. Could you use your pinky? Sure. I guess you could use your middle, but that feels so uncomfortable to me. For me, the most intuitive thing is my ring finger. And then watch out, open E string. and then 7, 5, 7, 6. By the way, we're working on line number 2. That transition riff at the bottom, we'll actually do that in a minute. That's what happens in between lines 1 and line 2. In the heat of the moment, I was writing this down for a student. I want to get the 2 main riffs down. I realized you'd have to go back and get that transition riff, just like I'm going to do with you guys. Okay, so line 2, just to review, I got my index finger already waiting at 5. Boom, boom, boom. A little bit easier on electric guitar, but you can do it on acoustic guitar. Switching over to the fat E string, 7, 5, 7, 6, still in 5th position. In fact, 5th position is pretty much the way to go once you need the 5th fret, from the end of line 1 right through all of line 2. So line 2 without so much talking. Line 2 again. So fun, right? I'm not sure. This is not my first Metallica riff ever, but I don't get too many requests from Metallica. So this is the first Metallica riff I've taught and played in a long time. Okay, that transition riff. Now we have to move up, right? Or I recommend moving up to 7th position for the Metallica transition riff. This is what happens technically in between line 1 and line 2, even though it's written down below everything else. We got 9, 7, 9, 7, 9, 8. See that little diagonal line connecting, that slash line connecting the 7 and the 5 at the end? That's a slide from 7 back to 5. And I'm going to recommend down up picking. Why not? Okay. Now you put all that together, right? Hey, KC is in the chat. Brian is in the chat. Winston is in the chat. Hey, you guys, thanks for being here. Brian, I see your question. We'll get to that in a minute. Thank you for that. So now, clearly, this is not the note for note authentic transcription of the entire tune. But if you're a guitar teacher like me, this is what the student needs to go home and start working on something. And we can always go back and work on the entire tune, right? Typically what I would do is I would try to find a transcription of the entire tune online or somewhere in one of my books or something. But I want a student to head home with either the main riff or the heart of the song or something to work on, right? And then the student can decide, hey, are you satisfied? Does that scratch the itch of what you wanted? Or does that sort of inspire you to want to learn note for note every aspect of the whole song? Okay, so there you go. What you need at a minimum to get started with Seek and Destroy by Metallica, part of a segment I call the WTF Weekly Teaching Feature. A student asked for this on Wednesday morning, and we made it happen. And now I'm showing it to you. A little highlight of my teaching week. Why is this a highlight? Because, again, I don't get too many requests from Metallica, and so it's fun for me. Also, it's not too hard, right? I mean, there's nothing about this that's super hard. I would imagine for some folks, it's using the pinky a lot could be a challenge. And for some folks, clamping down on those 5s and 7s could be a challenge if you haven't done a lot of that before. By the way, the key, besides just having some good strength, clamping down those 2 5s and those 2 7s, is where you put your thumb. You definitely want your thumb perpendicular to the neck, pointing straight up to this ceiling. Here's one tip. You cannot see my thumb, right? See that? You can't see where my thumb is. It's not up here. It's not doing anything goofy. If you point the thumb up towards the ceiling, but look in the mirror and see if your thumb is hidden from view, in this case, that's a good thing. At least in my opinion. That'll get you that'll put you on the road to success. Casey is asking, do I recommend any sites for transcriptions? Well, Ultimate Guitar is whether you want it to pop up first or not, it always pops up first. That's a good starting place. If what I recommend is going to your search engine, Google, whatever, and type in the word tab, T-A-B, and then the name of the song. And if the name of the song is very generic, like, I love you, then you might want to put the name of the group, singer, artist, whatever. Okay. But whatever you do, use multiple sources. Don't start with the very first tab transcription that pops up and just grind away at that over and over again, especially if it's not going well. You want to see what a variety of people have posted. And of course, you want to go to YouTube videos and trust your instinct. If the way the information is presented is not working for you, find another YouTuber, find another transcription, find something else that works better. It can be frustrating, right? We live in a world where there's no lack of information. But nevertheless, you have to find what works for your brain. So, yeah. Hey, Brian had a great question. Brian said, Jonathan, could you show a strum pattern for Let It Be by the Beatles? Yeah, sure. Let It Be, as you guys know, is a piano-based song, right? From the very beginning, there's Paul McCartney playing the white keys on the piano. The good news is that frees us up. It's liberating. There's not one specific guitar part we have to learn, right? So what I want to recommend, you can't go wrong with nice boring downstrokes to start off. I know it doesn't sound very ambitious. Find myself in times of trouble. Mother Mary comes to me, seeking words of wisdom. Let it be. Here's why you start with nice boring downstrokes. By the way, I'm doing 2 downstrokes: C twice, G twice, A minor twice, then F, C twice, G twice, F twice, C twice. Off the top of my head, I'm pretty sure that's the right sequence for the start of the tune. The reason why you keep the right hand boring for a minute at first is your fretting hand is not super confident with the chords. Great. Give 99% of your attention to your fretting hand and keep the right hand, the strumming hand, nice and boring. Reason 2, you have every desire to sing along with the song. Again, give 49% of your attention to your singing, 49% to your chord changes, and 2% to this nice, boring strum pattern, right? If you are not desiring to sing along, that's not your number one goal, and your chords are doing just fine, my instinct, right? And again, we're going on our taste, our instincts, because there's not a specific guitar part we have to do. My instinct, if I were playing with a pick, is to mute a little bit with my edge of my picking hand, and just nice, steady, muted downstrokes. I'm definitely not hitting lots of strings. Find myself. I'm going to sing it down like, Find myself in times of trouble. Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom. Let it be. By doing 4 steady, muted downstrokes per each chord, I'm keeping the momentum going, right? But I'm keeping the whole vibe of the song low key. We all know the tune. It's just very simple piano chords to start off. The song ramps up, right, as it goes on. But 4 steady, quick downstrokes per chord. Speaking words of wisdom. Let it be. Let it be. That works great. If I were doing bare fingers, I'm going to imitate the sound I was just getting a little bit. Find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary come, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Okay, so what was I doing? I was making 4 sounds per chord, and here's why I put it that way. I want you to think of it as 4 tasks, 4 things per chord. I'm using my thumb on the root note. What's the root note? On a C chord, the root note is going to be your 5th string, the A string. I'm giving that a downward pluck with my thumb. My ring, middle, and index for this particular moment, I planted my ring finger on the 2nd skinny string, my middle finger on the 3rd skinny string, my index on the 4th skinny string. So at the moment, nothing about my right hand is touching either of the outside strings. No fingers touching the skinny E, no fingers touching the fat E. 1, 2, 3, 4. So what's this pattern I'm recommending? Thumb down on the 5th string, index, middle, and ring up 3 times on the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th strings. Remember I said it's a 4 sound pattern. For a moment, I'm going to take it out of the context of Let It Be and just repeat this. Find myself in times of trouble. Now I know the chords change, but I want to give you a taste of what it sounds like rhythmically, what it sounds like. Your success is partly going to come from keeping your picking hand as loose as possible. Some of you have never done any finger picking before. So there you go. There's a finger picking pattern. As I change to other chords, at the moment, what I suggest, the only thing that truly needs to change is the thing your thumb is hitting first. In Let It Be, the next chord after C is a G chord. I'm going to hit the 6th string. Why the 6th string? Because that's the note G, and at this moment, that's the root note of a G chord. But my middle ring and my index, middle, and ring are going to stay on the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th strings. I'll say that again. My thumb, I'm on the G chord. My thumb hit the 6th string. My ring finger is on the 2nd skinny string. My middle is on the 3rd skinny string. My index is on the 4th skinny string, exactly where they just were for the C chord. I'm going to do 3 plucks up towards my shoulder, kind of. Now you can keep that pattern going with your picking hand, with the only adjustment being what the thumb should hit first on any given chord. Find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary come to me, seeking words of wisdom, let it be. Now, let's consider that a starting point. Of course, you could do a million fancier things. We could get into more subtleties, but if your fretting hand is good with the chords, and I believe the whole song is C, A minor, F, and G. I believe those are the only 4 chords that you truly need. There's a B flat come in at some point, possibly. But long story short, if your chords are fine, that frees your picking hand up to do all sorts of things. And based on Brian's question here, that would be my go-to pattern. If you were gonna sing the song and I was gonna accompany you sing it, yeah, that would be my go-to pattern to get us up and running. All right, Brian, excellent question. We could revisit Let It Be in the future. Aside from the fact that it's a beautiful song, it's a classic. It checks a bunch of boxes for me. It's slow. Other than the F chord, in general, the chords are pretty straightforward, common, easy chords. Because it's a piano-based song, it takes the pressure off, right? We can talk about what your options are, what feels right to you, and there's no absolute thing we're trying to achieve other than some sort of flowing strum or picking pattern so that you can sing or someone else can sing along, or you can play along with the recording. Yeah, excellent, excellent. Oh, I guess I can stop sharing. Stop sharing, seek, and destroy. Feel free to remind me every once in a while if whatever's on the screen is no longer relevant to what I was talking about. Yeah, you can see me a little better, right, when I'm not sharing something. You guys are always welcome to remind me of anything. There's no guarantee that my brain is working. I only had 5 students today. Just happens to be one of those Saturdays. Summertime in my schedule is, I have plenty of students, but on any given day of the week, somebody is at summer camp, somebody's traveling. So on a day where I might have anywhere from 8 to 10 students, sometimes it's 5 or 6 in the summer, sometimes. Joseph is bringing up a good point, Joseph G, that you could do Let It Be. We could do Let It Be and incorporate some of those nice walk downs that Paul McCartney does with his left hand on the piano, walking down those low notes. Yeah. By the way, Let It Be is, in the grand scheme of things, Let It Be, to play Paul McCartney's actual part for Let It Be on the piano is really easy. I mean, in the grand scheme of the world of piano playing. So those of you who are curious, maybe you've played piano a little bit back in the day, or maybe you've never played piano before. If you're ambitious and you want to see if you can play piano, it's a great idea. I know there's probably a million tutorials. I found a YouTube tutorial on it that was so well put together. It was a young woman, and I don't remember anything about it, but it was really good. So those of you who want to see if you can play piano, see if you can, if you have a future as a piano player, it's a great idea to to start with Let It Be. For all his many talents, Paul McCartney can write a song that's pretty simple on the piano. I'm not saying he's not a very good piano player. I'm just saying he's not trying to show off on the piano necessarily. He's just writing a great song, in my humble opinion. Hey, let's get into some of the news stuff that you guys might get a kick out of. Okay, let me pull this up here. We don't need that. What do we need? We need this, and we need this. How about let's start with, this is a great transition. John Cena. Everybody knows John Cena, famous actor John Cena, right? Okay, John Cena came to my attention just recently because guess what he's doing? He's learning how to play the piano. How's that for a segue? So what I'm going to do, I'll put this link in the chat. For those of you who are on Instagram, there's an Instagram link for you. But I'm also going to pull it up here. Let's see how this works. I believe when I pull up a chat like this, I believe you guys are going to be able to hear the volume. You're going to hear what's going on. I'm not going to hear it, but it's okay because I've heard it before. Okay, so, and if you can't hear it, I don't know. That's just how it goes. If you can hear this, great. Here's John Cena talking about learning how to play the piano as an adult.
I gave myself every excuse not to do it. I'm an athlete. My hands are too big. I'm too old. And then one day I just said, do it. And I still can't play very well. I'm very much in the beginner stage. I'm very grateful to my teacher, Sean Cheek at webpianoteacher.com for having patience. And I'm better than I was yesterday. I gave myself every excuse not to do it. I'm an athlete. My hands are too big. I'm too old. And then one day I just said, do it. And I still can't play very well. I'm very much in the beginner stage. I'm very grateful to my teacher, Sean Cheek at webpianoteacher.com for having patience. And I'm better than I was yesterday.
All right. You guys hear that okay? Gotta like his attitude, man. He had every excuse in the book, and he finally got tired of making excuses. Gotta love that. And he's better than he was yesterday. You know what? How cool is that? So could you guys hear that okay? I think last time I shared a link like that, I realized when I did the time stamping the next day that you guys were hearing the volume just fine, and I just don't hear it on my end, which is fine. But could you guys hear that? Let me know in the chat. I hope you could. So John Cena, man, why not? Why not John Cena? You know? Okay. Oh, I want to share with you a few stretches that I've been doing. I have a very cool book, and the book is entitled Guitar Soloing. I'll tell you more about it in a minute. But throughout the book are very cool tips on stretching our hands. Don't go anywhere, because I want to share that with you. I didn't mention that at the beginning of the show, but look at you. You're still here, 40 minutes in, and you are going to benefit from this stretching thing. We all should be doing stretching all the time. And I want to show you some of the ones that are recommended in that book. Okay. Hey, speaking of books, I'm having a book sale for 4th of July weekend, 40% off. That's, you heard right. Here we go. We're getting there. We're getting there. Yeah, we're live. We're still here. We're still here. Hey, everybody. I was just singing, Tommy, can you hear me? Tommy, can you hear me? We had some storms roll through here in the Connecticut River Delta. We had some storms roll through, and it messed with everybody's Wi-Fi. So maybe that's what's going on. I don't know. I don't know. And we're back. We're back. So what was I saying? I was saying I'm having a book sale. You guys know I have a lot of books. Okay. It's 4th of July weekend. You don't have to leave the live stream to save 40%. Hold on. The sale goes through Monday. You can save 40% on my hard copy book called Easy Guitar Chord and Lead Tricks. You can save 40% on all these ebooks. These are the ones that get delivered instantly to your email inbox. So 40% is kind of a lot. Chord-Melody Songbook, 40%. Complete Christmas Songbook, 40% off. What's the coupon code? July 40. Capital J on July, and then 40 for 40% off. It's a 4th of July sale. Strum Pattern Bible, ooh, 40% off. Okay, so all these ebooks, the guitar, week 1, month 1, year 1, 40% off. Just head over to www.song-bike.com and do what you got to do. And don't forget, when you're prompted for a coupon, put in July 40, July with a capital J, 40, July 40 for 40% off. Okay. I didn't want to forget to mention that. I've sold a bunch already. It's you guys like a deal. So I've been promoting this for a couple of days on social media. Those of you who follow me on Instagram or Facebook know all about this. Thank you for those of you who have made purchases recently. And if you haven't, why not save 40%? You don't have to do it right now. You got all day tomorrow to do it. I forget if it's midnight tomorrow when it expires or midnight Monday going to Tuesday. Don't wait too long. Just do it after the live stream tonight or tomorrow, you know. Okay, I'm looking into the chat. Scott says, been playing around with how where you pick affects the sound. Yeah. Yep. If you pick acoustic guitar or electric guitar, picking, back towards the bridge, that's how you make your acoustic guitar sound more electric, like picking back here. Picking more up towards the neck, you get a thicker sound, even more noticeable on electric. For the fun of it, there's the Johnny Cash riff by the bridge, and up close to the neck. So to the extent that you hear a little bit of difference, that's how much of a difference there is. Yeah. EQing your guitar, you're EQing your guitar just the old-fashioned way, right? Yeah. RB has joined the chat. Hey, RB, thanks for being here. Hey, I'm Joseph. I want to thank you for your super chat. I've been trying to like it, Joseph G, and for some reason YouTube isn't letting me like your super chat, but I received it and I thank you. Super chat is how you can support the live stream right here. And it's that $ down at the bottom of the chat. Okay, let's get into some more news. As we speak, Black Sabbath is preparing for their final show. Check this out. Don't take my word for it. Okay, there we go. Here's what we're looking at. There we go. Okay. Black Sabbath. Any Black Sabbath fans out there? Here's what you need to know. It's tonight. It's like now. Especially with the with time difference, it's probably happening as we speak. If your screen goes black, don't worry. It's Black Sabbath. There they are. So Black Sabbath, what's going on here? It was announced back in February. In fact, what is that? 5 months ago, that today, right now, would be the final show of Black Sabbath. Look at that. End of an era. Who else is joining Black Sabbath? Metallica. Look at all those bands. Holy cow. Additional performances. Look at, there's a lot of people there. It's a big show. Holy moly. So anybody in the chat, actually in the UK, are you anywhere near Villa Park in Birmingham? There's a big show. Okay, so now you're up to date. Now you know what I know about Black Sabbath and their final show. Totally different note, Kaye, bass player extraordinaire. Kaye is in the news. While we're talking about who's in the news, Kaye is in the news, and it's kind of a fascinating reason why she is in the news. Check this out, you guys. If you know Kaye, you know that she played bass on the soundtrack of your life. It's probably difficult to go 24 hours without hearing Kaye in your life. Well, she like the headline says there, she was offered an induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and she said no. And I'm scrolling up so you can read what I'm reading right here. No part of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. She said she has declined the offer permanently. And I'm scrolling up here a little bit so you can see she posted originally on Facebook and then deleted it, but she said she's turning it down because it wasn't something that reflects the work that studio musicians do and did in the golden era of the 60s, 1960s recording hits. The group of people known as the Wrecking Crew, Kaye says she did not enjoy that name. She said, I was never a wrecker at all. It's a terrible, insulting name. So very interesting. And they mentioned here at the bottom of the article, this is from the AP, that Dolly Parton initially declined her induction, ultimately accepted it. She felt that she wasn't rock and roll enough. Dolly Parton did. That was 5 years ago, 3 years ago. Anyway, it's very interesting, Kaye. And you know what? It's her right to be remembered and however she chooses to be remembered. Very interesting, though. And what can you say? Those of you who are not super familiar with Kaye, all I can tell you is you've heard her bass playing on hundreds and hundreds of songs your whole life. Check. Kaye, check. John Cena, check. Poll question. How are we doing our poll question? The poll question of the night is, here we go. Are you experienced? I like to use that word because it's problematic to say, are you a good guitar player? Are you a bad guitar player? Those aren't helpful terms. Someone can be a fantastic jazz guitar player and have zero experience doing beautiful classical finger picking. So technically, are they a bad finger picker? They're just inexperienced, right? Okay, so are you experienced? So your options include, I am the most experienced one around, meaning in your immediate circle. 8% of you find yourself in that scenario. 29% say, I am the least experienced. Everyone around you has more experience than you do. And 2/3, about 62%, pretty much in the middle. That's how I feel. There's always someone, which leads me to a weird segue. Here in small town USA, we have local newspapers that cover the little like 2-town community, 3-town community. And several years ago, they have these polls, right? Best Mexican food, best florist, or whatever. A few years ago, I won best musician. And all I could think about was, it's kind of embarrassing because that's not how life works. Number one, I know people who are extremely talented, and I'm lucky enough to play with them at times when I'm lucky. And number two, I'm pretty sure the local papers do things like that because they, for sure, what they send you an email saying, "Hey, now that you've won this award, don't you want to take out a big ad in the next issue of the newspaper and thank everybody who voted for you?" So just recently, I was informed that my music shop was voted the third best, and I didn't even really look at the category. Third best music something, I don't know. Third best. I don't know. Is that good? I mean, I don't know. So again, they say, don't you want to buy a big ad from the newspaper and thank everybody who voted for you? I don't know. That's small town. There you go. You got to support the paper. And it's an honor. It's an honor just to be mentioned in the local paper. But you can see why these terms are not super helpful terms. And polls and things like that are not super helpful. But experience, if you think about how much experience you have doing something and how much experience your friend or neighbor has, your cousin, everyone has a cousin who's an amazing guitar player, or either a cousin or an uncle. Some of you are nodding your head right now because you either have a cousin or an uncle who can play anything on the guitar. And it's a tale as old as time. I'm the only one who doesn't have a cousin or an uncle, to my knowledge, who is an amazing guitar player. Everyone else in the world does. But that's why I phrased the question the way I phrased it, because it's a good way. It's a healthy way to look at things. I have a lot of experience doing certain guitar things and very, very little doing other guitar things. So anyways, please do vote in the chat. RB says, I am the uncle with amazing skills. There you go. RB, I'm glad we finally met. I've heard about you. I've heard about you. Yeah, you guys are reacting to the karaoke thing. Hey, Barry is talking about Willie Nelson. Barry says, I was listening to Willie Nelson yesterday, 92, 117 individual albums. Well, I didn't know that. 51 compilation albums and still touring. I have a ticket to see Willie Nelson in September. He's coming through Connecticut. There was a little bit of a scare yesterday or the day before. I got a text from one of my students saying Willie Nelson had taken ill and was back at home resting, which is never a good sign for someone who's 90 plus years old. And his family released a statement saying that, he was going to be taking some time. And then a little while later, they posted that he was doing better. He was on the mend. So sending good thoughts to Willie Nelson. I know we all are. And knock on wood, I'll be giving you a concert review September 9th, maybe. Willie Nelson and Bob Dylan and the Outlaw Tour are coming through New England. Charlie Beagle says, I've seen too many of these taste of polls where someplace like Pizza Hut is voted best pizza in the area. Yeah, I guess I'm a pizza snob. I guess maybe you are too, Charlie. Nothing wrong with Pizza Hut. It's just that, when you've had a variety of pizza from all over your whole life, Pizza Hut tends not to be your go-to place anymore, right? When you're starving and it's 2 a.m. And you're, on some street corner in some random city, Pizza Hut does the job. But beyond that, I don't know. Speaking of doing the job, I'm going to wet my whistle. I'll be right back. All right. Tell you what, before we do our virtual play-along song of the night, how about if I show you some stretches and then we'll be all stretched and our hands will be warmed up, and then we'll do our virtual play-along song of the night. So I mentioned this book. I found this book used, $4. It's insane. A very cool book called Guitar Soloing by Daniel Gilbert and Beth Marlis. Daniel Gilbert and Beth Marlis, M-A-R-L-I-S. Daniel Gilbert, common spelling. The book is published by Hal Leonard, but it's under the auspices of the Musicians Institute, which it's out there in LA, right? Isn't that out there in LA? I think so. So how could I resist? A big, thick book called Guitar Soloing. How could I resist? What I wasn't expecting was all the great stretching exercises. So I'm going to show you a few, and you can incorporate them into your life because we all should be doing some stretching. Quick disclaimer, I'm not a doctor. Check with your doctor before doing anything that I'm about to do. In fact, don't even do what I'm about to do. There's my disclaimer. I'm going to show you some stuff. Don't do it. If you do it at your own risk. I don't know. It just feels like I should say something like that, just to be on the safe side. Okay. Having said that, let's do some stretches. Okay. Easy one first. Both your hands high up in the air, way up high, and shake them. Shake your hands about 20 seconds. Just shake the heck out of them, but way up high. What you want to do is you want to get the blood out of your fingertips, right? Shake them 20 seconds. 20 seconds is a long time, but you shake and shake and shake. Your fingers are going to start to feel like thick bananas, right? After 20 long seconds, let your hands down by your sides, and you're going to feel that prickly feeling of the blood sort of coming back to the tips of your fingers, right? Just loosens everything up. Gets the blood flowing, muscle relaxation. Works for me. Kind of a no-brainer exercise. Okay, number 2. Grab onto your wrist. Okay, for the record, Your Honor, I'm grabbing my right wrist with my left hand, and my right hand is just hanging down towards the floor, right? Make a fist with your free hand, the one that's not grabbing onto the wrist, and just rotate it just nice and comfortably, clockwise and counterclockwise. You're just loosening up your wrist joints, that's all. In this case, my left hand is keeping my right wrist kind of stable, and then my right hand, loose fist, some gentle clockwise circles and counterclockwise, and then switch hands. Why not? Why not? I've been feeling some pain in my left hand, and that got me even more excited when I saw these stretches in this book. Okay? Oh, we're not done yet. Don't go anywhere. Okay, next one. Let me see. Do I like this one? There's a couple of these I didn't 100% understand. This one. Do I like this one? No, I didn't care for that one. Some of them, I want to see the person doing it. Okay. Before I do it. Ooh, this was an interesting one. Place your hand on a tabletop so it's flat, with all your fingers and your thumb and everything making contact with the table. Slowly raise your index finger, keeping your other fingers on the tabletop. Raise it to the maximum extension, whatever that is for you. Hold it for a couple of seconds. Slowly lower it back to the tabletop. Guess what? Do that with each finger. Obviously, some of them are going to be more capable than others, right? Since I don't have a table here in front of me, I'm pretending my left hand is a table and my right hand is doing this. Find yourself in a long car trip, riding a Greyhound bus. This will be a conversation starter. Buddy, what are you doing with your fingers there? Nothing, officer. Okay. Do I have a couple more to show you here? One was too hard. It involved a chord, and I couldn't do it. And so, oh yeah, this will be the last one. Then we'll get into our virtual play along. I'll just read what it says in the book. This warm-up targets the inside of the wrist area, which can become strained if it's not properly warmed up. Movement is very simple. Place your right thumb across the inside of your left wrist. Got it? As if you're going to take your pulse. Got it? Then with a light and easy movement, massage the area in a way that is moving, quote, cross fiber at the base of the wrist. Ooh, feels kind of good. You may want to continue the massage up the arm as far as the elbow. Switch hands and repeat the process. Now, aside from the fact that I think stretching is a good thing, I also want to say you might as well do it, reverse it and do it for both hands. Even though I know as guitar players, we think a lot about our fretting hand. And honestly, I feel like my fretting hand is the hand that is more likely to get aches and pains. Can't hurt to do both hands, right? It's free. It's free. Okay. So I want to share those with you. I wouldn't be surprised if we follow up with more stretching stuff as time goes on. I feel a little more warmed up. How about you? Okay, let's do this. Our play along song of the night. I kind of can't believe we never did this one before. We kind of did, but we kind of didn't. Here's what I mean by that. Give me a second. A million years ago, and I really mean a million years ago, we did something I called the Stand By Me Challenge. And that's up at my website, www.song-bike.com. But we never did Stand By Me as like an actual, here we go, as an actual play-along song. Let's do it right now. All right, there you go. Okay, if your screen goes black, you know the routine. You got a couple of options. Either way, what you're looking at there, with or without a capo, that's the whole tune, my friends. Stand By Me checks a lot of boxes. Classic tune, easy chords. If you use a capo, slightly trickier chord. If without a capo, you got the F sharp minor. Okay, so this is going to be hopefully a pretty short intro. I want to get right into playing it. Let's talk about your left hand, and let's talk about your right hand strum pattern. Okay, left hand with a capo. Capo at the second fret. You got G, E minor, C, D, and G. Notice the G chord happens at both the beginning and the end of the sequence. That's significant. When you play those two G's, those G's at the end of the sequence, you repeat back and do two more bars of G. We'll talk about the exact duration in a minute, the exact strumming in a minute. But whatever you do, don't get to the end of that chord progression, those G's, and then immediately go to the E minor. You got to go back to the beginning G's, right? I've seen it happen. For once, I'm not going to insist that you do G any particular way. Technically, you could do G however you want to. This is if you're using a capo. For those of you who have no interest in using a capo for this tune, that's fine. Well, I'll get to you in a minute. I will say this. However you choose to do G, your finger on the fifth string is already in the right place for the E minor chord. So whatever you do, make a point of switching from G to E minor with one of your fingers maintaining contact with the string. Okay, in this case, I'm doing G with my index, middle, and ring just to prove to you that I can, and do occasionally play it that way. And then my index finger is staying on the fifth string, second fret, even when I go to E minor. If you do exactly what I just did, then you could keep your middle finger exactly where it is when you go from E minor to C. See that little trick? E minor with index and middle. The middle finger stays exactly where it is for the C chord. Okay? You do not have to do G with your index, middle, and ring. You could do G with middle, ring, and pinky. You could do the four-finger G. Every once in a while, I come across a student with a four-finger G as their go-to chord. Sure, why not? Why not? Okay, so 4 pretty easy chords in the key of G with a capo on the second fret. We'll talk about the strumming in a second. Without a capo, we have A, D, and E. We love A, D, and E, but we also have F sharp minor. For those of you who are great at bar chords, then you're all set. For those of you who are not great at bar chords, but you're ambitious, you don't want to give up just because you're not great at F sharp minor, you can play a fragment of that chord, that F sharp minor chord. For instance, you could play the 3 skinny strings at the second fret. That is an F sharp minor chord. It's a really simple version of it. You could play, say, just the 2 bass strings. It might look like I'm playing that F sharp minor bar chord, but I'm actually curving over everything. I'm just playing the 6th string 2nd fret and the 5th string 4th fret. I'm not really touching any other strings. I'm definitely not doing a bar chord. So you could play that. Again, I call this a fragment, right? You can play a fragment of a bar chord, and that is good enough. Sure, you can push yourself to do the proper bar chord over time. I'm just saying at the moment, hey, you're welcome to play a fragment of the bar chord. Okay, so that takes care of the left hand. Right hand, there's no distinctive guitar part in Stand By Me. That means we can do whatever we want, right? So what I'm going to recommend, I'm going to start with a capo version just for the fun of it. 2, here I go. Okay, if you know the song, you know it has that vibe of do 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 do. Okay, what I'm strummed there it suggests that rhythm. It's appropriate to that rhythm without literally being that exact riff. Do 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 do. So technically, what am I doing? I'm doing 3 down strums for each chord. And you might say, but wait, there's 4 little slash marks. Those 4 slash marks under every chord name, that's my way of communicating that the chord lasts for 4 counts. What we do during those 4 counts is totally up to us. But after 4 clicks, it's time for the next thing. G for 4, G for 4, E minor for 4. You get the idea? So I'll stand by those 4 slash marks, but for the record, what I just did there was not 4 strums per chord. Technically, it was 3 strums per chord name. G, 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 G. And you notice my right hand, my picking hand, is kind of snapping back and muting the strings. Why am I doing that? Because the song has such a sparse, beautiful kind of elegance to it. Letting the strings ring too much would not be appropriate. It's too jangly. If you've never done this kind of muting before, just be patient with yourself. There's no trick to it. Don't overthink it. You strum the chord, and then your strumming hand just kind of snaps back quickly and takes the sound away. There's absolutely no trick to it. Don't overthink it. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. I'm going a little bit fast. I'm slowing it down. So for the record, I am strumming the chord. Secondarily, I'm muting the sound, as opposed to that chopping sound where you intentionally get a kind of sound. That's cool, but that's not this. Without a capo, in the key of A, same rhythm. Okay. If that strum is easy peasy and you're ready to rock and roll, excellent. We're going to start in a minute. If that syncopation feels a little like you're not used to it, that's okay. Number 1, I'm going to play a little bit slower when we actually do the tune. Number 2, by listening to the tune, refreshing your mind, that's going to help a lot. Bum, bum, ba-da-dum, bum, ba-da-dum. So what I hear to my ears, it's a stand-up bass doing that from the very beginning. Boom, but good old-fashioned acoustic upright bass. That's what it doesn't sound like an electric bass to me. We are getting in sync with that. Again, there's no distinctive guitar part happening in there, and that's fine. Not every song has a big, loud, AC/DC guitar thing going on, you know. Doesn't mean we can't play it, but we want to be subtle. We want to fit in to the groove of the song. And there's a million possibilities, but this is the one I'm choosing to go with. Okay, so for the fun of it, maybe I will play part of the tune with the capo, and then I'll do a little, I'll take the capo off partway through. I don't know, it keeps things interesting. So technically I'm playing, you know, G, E minor, C, and D to start off, and then whenever I feel brave, I'm going to take the capo off. Hopefully I won't even miss a beat, and I'll go into the A chords. What could go wrong? What could possibly go wrong? Questions, comments? You guys good here? Oh, we'll start in a second. On my website, song-bike.com, in the PDF section is a massive 10-page document. I reviewed it. I couldn't believe it was 10 pages. And I call it the Stand By Me Challenge. And that's in the PDF section of my website. And it goes through all these different possibilities of how you could play Stand By Me, including what you're looking at right there, but also doing it up the neck, doing it in a way that's imitative of the bass guitar. It's a pretty fun thing. It's a much bigger document than what you're looking at right there, but it's fun. And it's called the Stand By Me Challenge. That's already at my website. What you're looking at, I will ultimately upload that to the PDF section of my website as well. Okay, are we ready to do this? There's a solo. We're going to do verse and chorus. There's a string solo section in the middle. When you hear me and I'm not singing, I'm just doing the chord progression. I'm allowing for that space where the strings come into the beautiful solo. And then there's one more verse and chorus at the end. I'll see you on the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4. When the night has come and the land is dark and the moon is the only light we'll see. No, I won't be afraid. No, I won't be afraid. Just as long as you stand by me. So darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Stand by me. If the sky that we look upon should tumble and fall, or the mountains should crumble to the sea, I won't cry, no, I won't shed a tear, just as long as you stand by me. Darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Stand by me. So darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Stand by me. Whenever you're in trouble. trouble, won't you stand by me? Oh, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. All right, how'd you do? Pretty straightforward, right? Questions, comments? For those of you who are capoed up anyways, doing the G chords, remember, once the capo's on and you're comfortable with the chords, you can scooch the capo all over the place to see what's right for your voice, right? Including taking the capo off, but still playing the G, E minor, C, D, G. Why not? Why not, you know? Wingo says A to F sharp minor is pretty easy as such things go. Yeah, yeah. You know what? And potentially, because there's a little built-in space where there's silence, that gives you a little bit of time to get to whatever the next chord is. Bum, 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 bum. I know it's not much time, but it's silence anyways, right? My advice isn't about, you know, some magic way of playing the F sharp minor, but just a reminder that when you go from regular chords to bar chords, you should expect to be committing your whole arm. It's not just your fretting fingertips. Really, it's your whole elbow, arm, wrist, everything. Just remind yourself that there's a lot going on there. It's not some cute little magic thing where the fingers scooch over just right. You know, you gotta throw your whole left side of your body into it at first. Now, as time goes on, it might be a more subtle thing. I just realized at one point as a teacher that, because I talk a lot about bar chords, because everybody's working on bar chords, that would be one more piece of useful information to mention to people, that when you go to a bar chord, it's not as simple as just going from A to D or A to E. There's a lot of your whole limb is committing to it. Winston says, I like that a lot. Excellent, excellent. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing that. Okay, so that document before long will be up on my website. For those of you who are members of my website, you can become a member. It's cheap. A lot of good stuff there, including tons of PDFs, including PDFs that reflect lots of the stuff we do here in our live stream. Okay, so did we do Stand By Me? We did. Did we do Metallica? We did. We got some monkeys coming up. Again, part of my feature called WTF, Weekly Teaching Feature. One of my students asked about a certain Monkeys tune, a certain riff in the tune, and it took me a minute to figure it out. And then I realized, oh, it could be a teachable moment. So we'll get to Monkeys in a minute. That's what you get here in my weapon of mass instruction called the SongBike Guitar Q&A live stream. Monkeys, Metallica, Black Sabbath, Kaye, and in a minute we'll be talking about the left bank. Okay, check. Hey, how about some student quotes? I can't believe we haven't got to our student quotes of the week. We got 2 good ones. We've got 3 good ones. Holy cow. Okay. Let's get to one. One of my students I don't even remember the exact thing we were talking about, but my student said the exercise that we were talking about. He said, it's as good for the brain as it is for your fingers. Yeah, man. I mean, I think that, and I communicate that in like a paragraph, and he said it in one sentence. It's as good for your brain as it is for your fingers. I think it was an arpeggio thing that you memorize and move up and down the neck. I liked how he said that. It's as good for your brain as it is for your fingers. Another student quote of the week. One of my students just bought a very sweet Gibson Les Paul from someone selling it on Reverb. Not a cheap guitar by any means. And I want to, I'm just going to read what he wrote to me. I think you'll get a kick out of it. Okay, there we go. Okay. Okay, so the seller of this very expensive Gibson Les Paul wanted to give my student some encouragement about, as the buyer who's now going to own this beautiful Les Paul. And so my student told me the seller was saying how nice the tones are in the Les Paul and the neck size and everything. Very informative guy. I said, I can play that guitar and make it sound like a $300 guitar every day. And I get where he was coming from, right? The guitar, without a doubt, the guitar probably sounded beautiful. But, we're still who we are, right? I liked his self-deprecating sense of humor. I can take that guitar and make it sound like a $300 guitar every day. Now, that's not it. We have one more quote of the week. And this is, I'm 99% sure this came from an Instagram page that I like quite a bit. And the Instagram page, the one I'm thinking of, is wise_musician. Wise_musician. And let me just make sure. There it is. Okay. And if it wasn't that page, that's a good page to know anyways. It's a good page to check out. And wherever I saw this quote, the person said, and this was from a veteran musician, music doesn't start in the hands, it starts in the mind. Yeah, like, we work so much in our hands. And every minute you're asking yourself, did my hand just do what I hoped it would do, right? Am I getting better? Is my hand getting better? And that's how we all are. I get it. But when I read that, music doesn't start in the hands, it starts in the mind. In the long run, that's where you're going to get. You're going to get to the point where your fingers can do stuff, but the choices you make, what you find satisfying, if you're improvising, the satisfaction you get from improvising, it's all in your mind. That's where it begins. And then your hands hopefully are doing some facsimile of what your mind wants it to do. But anyways, that quote just gave me pause, and I liked how it sounded. Music doesn't start in the hands, it starts in the mind. Still thinking about that. Should I sell out? It's a regular segment of our show. Should I sell out? 2 great offers this week. I was offered the following items to sell to you. High quality brass outdoor lighting. It gets better. Not just any old neon sign, but a neon sign designed like Dogman. Does that mean anything to you, Dogman? A Dogman neon sign. Would you buy a Dogman neon sign from me? And that's the segment we call Should I Sell Out? Who's in town? Ooh, some interesting people come through town this week. Django Reinhardt. The group is called the Django Festival All-Stars. And I will put a link to one of their live videos in the description of this live stream. The Django Festival All-Stars are coming through. And if you're not familiar with Django Reinhardt, D-J-A-N-G-O, Django Reinhardt, absolute one-of-a-kind guitarist. And I remember when I got turned on to Django Reinhardt, I just thought I was probably 20, 21, and I thought I knew everything. I thought I heard everything. And when I heard Django Reinhardt, it was painfully obvious that I really didn't know anything about music. And what an awesome experience to hear Django Reinhardt for the first time. And because his style of guitar, his playing was so unique, even though he is long gone, the music he played and the style that he played in lives on. So the Django Festival All-Stars are coming through town. How about Canned Heat? Remember Canned Heat going up the country? Canned Heat is on tour. They're coming through town. And John Cafferty and the Beaver Brown Band, they're coming through town too. So I will put links to all those artists in the description of this video. There you go. Check, 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 check. Okay. Check. Got it. I'm going to look in the chat here. There we go. Hey, Debbie, thanks for joining us. Debbie is here. I'm just looking to see what you guys. Yeah. Oh, Charlie, I see what you're saying. Charlie's saying that when he does the F sharp minor, you use your pinky to do both of those notes. Yeah, on the 5th and 4th string. Now, if you can do that, but get all 6 strings to ring, then excellent, excellent. Yeah, very cool. Don't forget, you guys, I'm here for your questions. If you have a question, put it in the chat with a bunch of question marks. That's how I know it's aimed at me. I saw a flurry of very generous super chats. So I want to thank Barry and Randy and Chaz and Bruce. Thank you guys for your super chat donations. It means a lot. Hey, there's speaking of funds, the last Saturday of July, which would be the 26th, I'll be out of town. No live stream on the 26th. I'll be in Maine, stopping by at least one very cool guitar store in Portland, Maine, called, it's named after that Grateful Dead song. What's the name of that place in Portland? Someone help me out. I'm going to go there. So I'll remind you as it gets closer, but no live stream Saturday, July 26th, 3 weeks from now. It's going to bug me. And as soon as I see the name, it's going to all come back to me. Name of the store called dun. Come on. Oh my gosh, that's kind of funny. Yeah, it just goes to show, man, you got to be. Oh, I know why. Portland, Connecticut. No. We want Portland, Maine. There we go. Come on, Guitar Center. Oh my gosh. Will I get to Gary's Guitars in Portsmouth, New Hampshire? Maybe. Oh man, why is this name not popping up? You know, it could be because they don't have a big online presence. Man, when someone, oh, there it is. Buck Dancer's Choice. In my mind, that's that reminds me of the Grateful Dead, from that Grateful Dead lyric. Buck Dancer's Choice. So, anywho, thank you for your super chat donations. And that just reminded me that I'm going to be on vacation at the end of the month. And I'll be thinking of you. Music fan, thank you for that. Yeah, Rock Lobster, maybe I'll see you there. I don't know exactly when I'm going to go there, but we'll figure it out. Call me. We'll figure it out. Hopefully they do not have that sweet heritage Les Paul that they had previously, because number one, I couldn't afford it, and number two, I really liked it. It was maybe a lemon, a dirty lemon kind of finish, and I'm pretty sure, and it was relict. And I don't even like Les Pauls, and I really like that guitar. So I guess I do like Les Pauls. There you go. Go figure. Okay, you ready for some monkeys? Sure, why not? So one of my students asked about this tune, and it was a Monkees tune that I was not familiar with. Not that I consider myself some sort of Monkees expert, but I just didn't know this tune. So what you're seeing is a handwritten thing, and it's possible that I will upload this as is to my website. It's also possible I'll rewrite it to make it look a little more pro. But if you were a fly on the wall during my lesson on Wednesday afternoon, this is what you would have observed. You would have observed me doing a little analysis and writing down this riff from Saturday's Child by the Monkees. Let me get this music stand. Oh, I had a big victory this week, you guys. WD-40 to the rescue. All my music stands were squeaking and squeaking and squeaking. Every time I tilted the shelf of the music stand, WD-40 to the rescue. Remember, if it moves and it shouldn't, use duct tape to fix it. If it doesn't move and it should, you use WD-40 to fix it. And there's my words of advice. Oh man, WD-40 worked like a charm. Took a couple doses on one of the music stands, but okay. So if you were a fly on the wall Wednesday, this is what you would have seen me doing with a student. You're going to need some hybrid picking, meaning your pick, of course, and your middle finger. Okay, we have a riff that's based on the interval known as a sixth. So these are sixths, that 9 and 9, sliding down to 7 and 7. The interval is known as a sixth. This whole thing, these are all called sixths. It's imperative that you, with your fretting hand, that you use your middle finger, your second finger on the third skinny string, the G string. That's going to be the finger that anchors you down. The finger you use on the first E string, the skinny E string, could be your ring finger, like for the 9 and 9, or it could be your index finger, for instance, when it's 5 on the first string and 6 on the third string. I recommend switching over to your index finger. You have to switch over to your index finger on the first string, 5th fret. But I'll say it again. By maintaining your middle finger on the third skinny string for this whole line of music, it's going to make your life so much simpler. Okay, I'm going to stop talking so much and just play it slowly. I'm trying to keep it memorized so I can focus my eyes on my left hand. Okay, so aside from the fact that it's a cool little challenge, it's very pretty sounding. It's this little riff that happens in the intro. It happens at different points during the tune. What's going on there? How did the guitar player know that that would be an appropriate thing to do? Where's the starting point, right? It wasn't trial and error. Whoever the session musician was, because I believe the vast majority of Monkees tracks, the instruments were played by session musicians, I assume out of California. Okay, the song, I'll tell you right now, the song's in the key of E, but there's a lot of alternating between the E major and the D major chords back and forth, okay? And that's a little bit of a wake-up call. When you have a song like, you know the one chord, you're in the key of E. If you knew you're in the one chord was E. If the flat 7 chord, in this case the D major chord, if that chord shows up a lot, there might be other chords, but we're in the key of D. If that chord shows up a lot, then we are no longer thinking about the E major scale or the E major pentatonic or even the E minor pentatonic necessarily as being our go-to source. We want, dun, 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 the E Mixolydian mode. What does that mean? It's an E major scale, change one note. Guess what? An E major scale, but we change what would have been a D sharp to the note D. Because that D chord shows up so often in this tune, we want to acknowledge that when we make up a riff, So the studio guitar player, I'm sorry, I don't know who played guitar in this particular Monkees track. They knew they wanted to reflect the existence of the D major chord in this song that otherwise you could just say is in the key of E. Okay, so this is my, fancy way of saying this riff is based on an E major chord with one note altered, and then harmony notes from that same group of notes, Okay, so take a look at the second line down. On the left-hand side of the second line, there's a number 1 in a circle, meaning that this is our first step. We have on the skinny first E string, we have a 12, 10, 9, 7, and then a 5, 4, what does it say? 5, 4, 2, 0. It's almost an E major scale, almost perfect, except that 10 on the first string. It should be an 11, but it's a 10, and that's what makes it the Mixolydian mode. Don't let that name throw you. It just means we're changing one very specific note. We're literally changing from an 11 to a 10. So it's the Mixolydian mode. It's a major scale with a flatted 7, and it fits the song great. Okay, that same scale as a concept, right? The same scale, an E scale with one note altered. There it is in the next line down on the third skinny string, G string. 9, 7, 6, 4, 2, 1, and then the D string 4, 2. Without me talking so much. That is also an E major scale with one note altered. And because the note we altered was a D sharp, we altered to a D. Again, it's known as a Mixolydian mode. We're just doing it on a different string than the first way, which is all in the skinny string. Okay, so going back to the top of the page, the session musician here just combined, notes from the skinny string with notes from the third string. And that means that the 9 and 9, they sound nice together because they're both notes from this E Mixolydian mode. And so are the 7 and 7, and so are the 5, 6. See that overlap, right? So music theory-wise, that's how this was assembled, Now, you can play it and have fun with it and sound great without even knowing any of what I just said. But long story short, it's a riff based on the E Mixolydian mode, harmonized in sixths with more notes from the E Mixolydian mode. So could we call it an E Mixolydian sixths riff? We could. Or we could just call it Saturday's Child by the Monkees, and the demonetization continues. I probably already got demonetized just for talking about John Cena an hour ago. But there you go. Saturday's Child by the Monkees. Let's see what I wrote here. When you flat the 7th degree of a major scale, it sounds more appropriate for a rock lead guitar. It has a name, the Mixolydian mode. There you go. I try to use the whole piece of paper and put down all sorts of relevant information. So there you go. If you were fly on the wall Wednesday, that's what you would have seen me working on with a student. Hybrid picking with your picking hand, thumb, and middle finger. Could you do this with bare fingers? Like say your thumb and your pointer, no pick whatsoever? You could. But I encourage you to push yourselves and get comfortable with this whole notion of hybrid picking. Yeah, cool riff. So that is now added to my teaching, my file folder in the S's, Saturday's Child. Next time someone asks for a Monkees riff, I've got it ready to go. All right, you guys good with that? There you go. A lesson you never forget. Section we call WTF, Weekly Teaching Feature, which is basically highlights of my teaching week. As soon as I feel comfortable with it, I share it with you. And there you go. Okay, so Joseph is referring to Don't Pass Me By the Beatles, one of your favorite 4-chord songs, C, F, G, and G7. The White Album, yeah, fun song, Don't Pass Me By. Maybe that should be one of our play-along songs. I'm going to make a note. Don't Pass Me By. We don't do enough Beatles songs here in our virtual play-along. I mentioned Jolene before. Upon reflection, Jolene might be a little bit trickier than I'd like to be one of our play-along songs. But never say never. But I want to take a little time before I commit to doing Jolene for one of our play-along songs. Great song, obviously. Okay. Let me close this window. Hope you guys had a great week, by the way. Everybody have a good 4th of July. My family and I went out for ice cream. Doesn't get much better than that. I read a book. Very, very fun book. I showed you guys months ago. It's autobiography of sorts. A fellow who toured with Muddy Waters, both as a guitar player and as a road manager, just talking about being on the road with Muddy Waters, basically from the early 70s until just a little bit before he died. Very fun. And I read the whole book. It was a fast read, but that was my goal, man. On 4th of July, I want to sit on the sofa and read a book, and I did. I practiced guitar. I did just enough housekeeping and just enough yard work to say I did. Had some yummy dinner with my wife. It was fun. So I hope you guys had it as nice and relaxing of 4th of July as I did. Charlie Beagle was saying, how about some Animal songs? Not a bad idea at all. I love the Animals. Animals' Greatest Hits. I got that album. I couldn't have been more than 10 or 11 when I got that album. And I enjoy it as much now as I did when I first got it. I love that album, Animals' Greatest Hits. A lot of tunes, I heard them for the first time on the Animals' Greatest Hits albums. Songs like Don't Let Me Be Misunderstood. What's that other one? Baby Please Don't Go. A lot of songs that later I found out were covered by a lot of people, but I heard the Animals versions first. And of course, House the Rising Sun and so on. I'm sure I bought it for House the Rising Sun. You know, back in the day, you guys remember when you'd buy an album, you know, $5, $6, $7, $8, $9, and you only knew one song, and you were hoping you'd like at least one or two of the other songs. And if by some chance you liked almost every song in the album, I mean, I know it's called Greatest Hits, but that doesn't necessarily guarantee you're going to like all the songs. Oh, man. Love that album. I might listen to that album on the way home. Okay. So I hope you guys had a nice 4th of July. I hope the rest of your weekend is going well. Other things I want to share with you. I'm going to put some of these things in the description of this video. And I feel like there's almost not enough time to talk about all this stuff. I'm a fan of Gillian Welch and David Rawlings, and they just did a Tiny Desk concert on NPR. And so I'm going to, in the description of this live stream, I'm going to put a link to that performance. Among other things, you might get a kick out of just how good a guitar player, how tasteful a guitar player David Rawlings is, and how you might get a kick out of the sound of the type of acoustic guitar he plays, which is essentially an archtop acoustic. Instead of having the big hole, it has two little holes. You'll see in the video. But you don't see those being played very often nowadays, and I associate it very much with him. He's the guy who used it. So I'm going to share a link to Gillian Welch and David Rawlings and their most recent Tiny Desk concert. What else? Ooh, can you tell I'm excited? Ma'am, okay, where to even begin? I'm a big fan of an extremely talented musician named Howard Levy. And Howard Levy, L-E-V-Y, you've heard me mention him before. For many people, he came to fame, came across their radar as part of the original band of Bella Fleck and the Flecktones, playing harmonica and piano. He's a musician's musician, to say the least. He has a very cool Instagram page called Howard Levyland. Okay, so just the other day, he posted a big epic thing on a fantastic violinist named Harry Lookofsky. L-O-O-K, like the word look, O-F like of, S-K-Y like sky, look of sky, Lookofsky. Man, this big epic post all about how fantastic a violinist Harry Lookofsky was. I thought, man, I love it. I love coming across a name of a musician from back in the day that I never had heard of before. Okay. He gets towards the end of talking about the career and the talent of Harry Lookofsky, and he mentions a pop music twist. Oh, it blew my mind. I don't know about you guys, but I love the song Walk Away, Renee so much. I love that song, and I'm not the only one. And I'm going to put this in the description too. Okay, so why am I segueing to Walk Away Renee. Well, I thought you'd never ask. Okay, bear with me. Let me get this out of the way. I can't wait. I'm going to put this Instagram link in the chat. So Harry Lookofsky has this big career as a successful musician. Harry Lookofsky also has a son. His son gets into the music business. You see where we're going with this? Are you one step ahead of me? Okay, here we go. Paste. Okay, now this is an Instagram link I just put in the chat, an Instagram link to the Howard Levy Instagram post where he talks about all this. Okay, so at the end of the post about Harry Lookofsky, he talks about Walk Away Renee. Harry Lookofsky's son, who went by the name Michael Brown, it was Michael Lookofsky, but went by the name Michael Brown, was a founding member of the Left Bank. The Left Bank's famous song, Walk Away Renee, written by Harry Lookofsky's son, also known as Michael Brown. Okay, so I had to do a deep dive into Walk Away Renee. So what did I find out about Walk Away Renee? Well, among other things, that's Harry Lookofsky doing the string parts. It's a very tasteful string section. Hold on here. I'm going to put this up here. Link. I want to open this, remove it, edit link. I want to go there. Let me, oh, there we go. That's that. Okay, that's good. But I want the Wikipedia to do the Wikipedia page. No, I haven't done that yet. Okay. So aside from the fact that it's just a very unique pop song that got as high as number 3, I think, in the top 10 of the Billboard charts for sure, 1966 or so. Beautiful song, 67. It's Harry Lookofsky doing the string part, you know, and there's a beautiful string part. Well, of course it's beautiful, because if your dad is Harry Lookofsky, he's going to play some beautiful strings on your record, right? Among other trivia I learned, that's an alto flute. There's a very pretty solo. It's so funny. Your dad is like a world-class violinist, but you go with an alto flute for the solo. Why not, man? It's a beautiful sound. So in case you ever hear, well, I hope you do. You listen closely. You don't have to listen that closely. It's the solo, you know, and that's the sound of an alto flute. And it's a very melodic solo. They could have just had the soloist mimic the melody of the tune. It's a very pretty melody, and we all would have been satisfied. But there's actually a very pretty alternative to the melody. So what else? What else did I learn about Walk Away Renee? I'm going to put the link to the. I learned there's a lot of chords. I thought, oh man, I was going to spontaneously make that our play along song, and there's just too many goofy chords. I'm not saying it's too hard for any of us. It wasn't going to work well as our play along song. Spent 13 weeks in the U.S. charts. Tell you what, I'm just going to share this with you. Okay, we want that. We want that. This is the Wikipedia page. Okay, there we go. You seeing what I'm seeing? Of course you are. July 1966. Okay. Marshall Crenshaw. I gotta love Marshall Crenshaw. Marshall Crenshaw was quoted as saying, "There's something about Walk Away Renee that's one of the most powerful songs I've ever heard, just in terms of provoking an emotional reaction." The Four Tops do a very cool version of it. I compared them today. I like the original version better. The Four Tops sound fantastic singing it. Something about the original version still works for me. Was this song written by unrequited love for one of the other musicians' girlfriends, Renee? Maybe. Alto flute solo, inspired to add the alto flute because of the Mamas and Papa song, California Dreaming? Maybe. There's a harpsichord part in Walk Away Renee that I'm there. You see the credits, the harpsichord was credited. There he is, Michael Brown. Technical, Harry Lookofsky gets a credit as a producer and being in charge of the strings. I guess he arranged the strings part. It wasn't him overdubbing all the strings himself, but he arranged it, and it's easy to imagine he picked up a violin and played on it, but for sure he arranged it. I don't know. The Four Tops cover, I don't know the Rick Price version. Okay, so there you go. Now you know a lot of what I know about Walk Away Renee. I just copy. Okay, I just love that what started off as a chance to learn about a new musician that I hadn't heard of before turned into a real deep dive on a tune that I always really enjoyed. And now I know more about it and I have a deeper appreciation, and maybe, just maybe, you do too. Love it. Love it. Now, don't let any of this stop you from looking into the fabulous talents of Harry Lookofsky. Go figure. Okay. There we go. And Scott Rhodes is remembering correctly that the Left Bank had another hit song called Pretty Ballerina, and supposedly written about the same Renee, but who knows? Who knows? These are the kind of things that make me happy, you know? Okay. I told you about the book sale. Song-bike.com, 40% for those of you who joined us a little while ago, 40% off of lots of stuff. Whether you are in the mood for that hard copy book, Easy Guitar Chord and Lead Tricks, that's when I package up, I mail to you, from me to you, or one of my ebooks, 40% off, all this stuff, Strum Pattern Bible, Chord-Melody Songbook Vol.1. I've been selling a lot of that one recently. Thank you for those of you who have bought this Chord-Melody Songbook. I love that book, and I appreciate it. I know, it's only July, but those of you who would like to get it together and play a couple of sweet songs at Christmas time, this is when you do it. I hate to sound like a salesman, but you start in July, and you look, if you start now and you get one of the cool arrangements sounding great and Christmas is a long ways off, then you learn a second one, and you learn a third one, why not? Anyways, 40% off through the weekend. For sure, the coupon code will work through Sunday night for sure. Coupon code July with a capital J, 40, all one word, July 40. When you go to the website and you go to make a purchase, there's a place for you to enter a coupon code. I know it works because a bunch of you have already done it, because I've been promoting this for a couple of days now. How would you know that I've been promoting it for a couple of days now? Just by following me on Instagram or Facebook. Head over to either one of those sites when we're all done here. Just do a search for SongBike, SONGBIKE. And that's when I keep you all up to date on stuff like that, like putting stuff on sales. Bruce, you like Stand By Me? Excellent. I see you guys are talking about lots of songs, including some other classics like Wake Up Little Susie, Kathy's Clown. Clay and I have been working on more Everly Brothers tunes. We've been working on Keep a Knocking, But You Can't Come In, because there's a nice harmony part on that. The guitar part is pretty straightforward, but we're working on harmonies. We have our next big gig August 9th. Is that a Saturday? I think it might be August 9th. And we want to have some new material, can't just play the same old songs, right? Let me see here. Yeah, it's a Saturday. So no live stream August 9th. We might do it the night before, but won't be on August 9th. Oh, but I'll do that thing where I stream our show, and I'll try to do two things better than last time. I'll try to do that thing where we look like righties, that we don't look all reversed. And I'll try to set up my phone so you get a good look at both of us playing, not just a look at my knees or something. No promises, but I sure hope I can get together. That's my pledge to you. Rock Lobster says, that's a nice sale. Yeah, 40%. Why not? It's the 4th of July, 40%. Why not? It's a lot of money. Save it. Save the money, man. Do it. I'm happy to know these books are getting out there in the world. I wrote 9 books in 5 years. And I'd write 9 more. I find it so fun. It's like getting all my thoughts down on paper. And as I went, I got better at the logistical part of it. I went from writing my first book as a Word document, which I do not recommend, to doing it via Google Slides, which is a million times easier. So, Ryan, hey Ryan, I see Ryan, your name in the chat. Thanks for being here, Ryan. I love seeing familiar names. Hey Greg, I see familiar names in the chat, which makes me so happy. And then I also see new names in the chat, which is awesome. For those of you who are joining us and you don't always join us live because maybe you are busy, thanks for being here. All the regulars, thank you for being here. Those of you who are watching this after the fact, thank you for watching us. Don't forget to give a like. You can like this live stream. You can like it later if you're watching this a day or two from now. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel. I got my play button, which I'm extremely grateful for. This is thanks to you guys. I'm up to 200,000 subscribers now, but you don't get another play button until you get to 1 million. And I don't foresee that happening anytime soon, which is fine. But you might notice, hopefully you guys are seeing no ads. It's funny, even though I have this live stream is not monetized at the moment, I'll still get a message from YouTube and it still says that I've been demonetized because of Stand By Me and Saturday's Child. So let's let the bots know. Oh, and we did Seek and Destroy by Metallica. Audiophile is joining us from Northern California. Hey, Audiophile man, thank you for being here. Audiophile man, do I remember right that you used to be in Japan? Were you in Tokyo before? And are you back home in Northern California now? I hope wherever you are home. Yeah. Thanks for being here. So my friends, I checked off a bunch of things I want to check off. I only have one more thing to share with you, and it's another bit of trivia that I find super interesting. In the same way I thought the Walk Away Renee trivia was super interesting. Okay, let me see. There we go. Okay, this is where I have to plead guilty to something. A while back, I mistakenly identified Willie Nelson as the author of the fantastic song called The Gambler. And I was so wrong. To quote Otis Redding, I was so wrong. Audiophile, you're in California for now. Sounds good. Okay, The Gambler was not written by Willie Nelson. It was written by Don Schlitz. Okay, I'm wrong sometimes. I wanted it very much to be a Willie Nelson song. Mr. Schlitz wrote a fantastic song, but check out the history. Okay, I'm going to scroll up a little bit. Okay, see in the middle of the page, he shopped the song around Nashville for 2 years, and then Bobby Bare recorded it. His version was never even released as a single. Schlitz recorded himself, got to 65 on the charts. Johnny Cash recorded it. Nothing. Something about Kenny Rogers' version. Number one, they made it the title track of the album, so clearly someone made the decision that this song had legs, right? November 78, number one hit country song. Holy moly. And see what it says there? This is Wikipedia, by the way, in case not clear. Made its way to the pop charts at a time when country songs rarely crossed over. Got the Grammy for Best Male Country Vocal Performance. Holy moly. Okay, so what's the lesson here? I have no idea what the lesson is here, right? How could a song, Johnny Cash recorded it, but it didn't catch on. It makes no sense, man. It makes no sense. But there you go. So I don't know. You tell me what the lesson is here. It just, I don't know. You can't keep a good song down. I guess that's a lesson. Number one, it's just a great song. Prove me wrong. It's a great song. Changed my mind. But why did it take so long and so many versions for it to? So now, admittedly, I haven't listened to Johnny Cash's version or Bobby. I haven't listened to anybody's version except Kenny Rogers. Is it possible that the other versions are so profoundly different from Kenny Rogers? No, man. Are you curious, man? I'm curious. I want to hear all the other versions. Okay, if I have the presence of mind, I'll put a link to the other versions of the songs. I'll put YouTube links to those versions in the description of this live stream, and we can compare and contrast. So for those of you who are aspiring songwriters, I'm going to click on this right here. For those of you who are aspiring songwriters, hang in there. You might just need a lot of famous people to do your song before, here we go, before it finally becomes acknowledged as a great song. Who knows? Anyways, I love learning stuff like this. So interesting. Barry says, do you still get the super chat money even if you have been demonetized? Excellent question. I'm pretty sure I do, because that's different. But you know what? Yeah, it's a good question. I got to check on that. I'm pretty sure that I do. But wouldn't that be a bummer? You know, you guys are just trying to support the live stream, and even that gets taken away. I got to Google it. I got to find that out. Thanks for asking. Charlie Beagle says, I wonder how many YouTube guitar teachers have 1 million subscribers. Yeah. I assume good old Marty Schwartz and Justin Guitar, I assume they do, you know. I don't know. They're doing their thing. I'm doing my thing, you know. I'd be surprised. I mean, I'm sure they have 1 million subscribers. I'd be surprised if they didn't. And there might be some other ones too. There's a lot of interesting teachers out there. I'm just too busy doing my own thing to pay too much attention to what my peers are doing. I don't know. You know, a lot of my working week is you know, teaching students one-on-one, and you know, that and this live stream is where the bulk of my brain cells go as a you know, contributor to society. You know, and the online stuff, which I did a lot in years past, for better, for worse, I don't, it doesn't, there's only so many brain cells. I got to get back to doing more online stuff. I know in my mind, this is the online stuff. It's me and you. We're doing it right now. This is it, you know. I'm seeing what you guys are talking about. Hey, Beginner Guitar Lessons is our moderator. Thank you for being here. Music Fan 1004 is our other moderator. Thank you for being here, sweetie. My mom is often watching. Thanks, Mom. Thanks for watching. Yeah, Charlie Beagle is referencing another Kenny Rogers great song. I just dropped in to see what condition my condition was in. Yeah, man, that's such a song. It's such a great song. I love that. Maybe that should be one of our play along songs. I'm going to make a note. I just write the word condition. I'll know. What's the name of that band? The band that did that song where Kenny Rogers was the lead singer of the band, but the band was called, someone put that in the chat. As soon as you say it, I'll remember. Joseph is talking about some other songs like Coward of the County and Lucille. You picked a fine time to leave me, Lucille, right? The first edition, is that no, the fifth edition. I see, Joseph, you said the first edition. Isn't it the fifth edition? I think it was the fifth. Which edition was it? There's only one way to find out. If you click on good old Kenny Rogers, and let's learn together, and then we'll end on that note as we do a deep dive into Kenny Rogers. Kenny Rogers got a birthday coming up. Posthumous birthday, August 21st. Okay, good to know. I am scrolling. Kenny Rogers was in the New Christie Minstrels. Didn't know that. Oh, first edition. You're right, you guys. You got it. First edition. Just dropped in to see what condition my condition was in. Now, the other thing I want to know, I don't mean to be too ADHD on you guys, is who wrote that song. Okay, so hang in there. Don't go anywhere. We gotta figure this out. Okay, Wikipedia again. Who wrote this song? Just dropped in. Was written by Mickey Newbury. Very interesting guy. Now we got to see who Mickey Newbury, what he was all about. There's Mickey Newbury right there. You still with me? Mickey Newbury from Houston, Texas. What else did he write? That's what I want to know. Let's scroll. And we'll end on this note, I promise. Outlaw Country, okay. 1980s, okay. Later Life, Legacy. Okay. Studio albums, live albums, couple singles. Okay. Now I got to admit, I don't know a lot of these songs. Anyways, Mickey Newbury. I recognize the name. I just don't know too much about him, but there's always tomorrow, my friends. There's always tomorrow. All right, you guys. On that happy note, you've been watching the 104th SongBike Guitar Q&A live stream, broadcasting from the Connecticut River Delta. From me to you. I think we did what we needed to do. Let's review our poll question. Last chance to vote. By the way, I always read the poll results at the end. And when I actually end the poll, it's always a little bit different than what I just said. It makes me crazy. So at the moment, the poll results are the following. The question was, are you experienced? 57% said, I'm pretty much in the middle amongst my peers. 38% said, I'm the least experienced guitar player I know. And 5% say, I'm the most experienced. So I'm going to end the poll, but who knows what the numbers will be when I end the poll. I don't know. I'm going to say a few good nights and a big thank you to everybody for watching. Good night, Ryan, Debbie, Joseph number 1, Joseph number 2, Charlie, Chaz, Winston, Randy, Scott, Ringo, RB, Barry, Audiophile Man. I know there's some more of you. Rock Lobster, Bruce. Thank you for being here, everybody. If I didn't say your name, I'm thinking of you and wishing you a big thank you all together. Greg, I see your name there. Greg asked about some rockabilly. We can do some rockabilly sometime. All right, you guys. Till next time. The next time I see you will be July 12th. Sounds good to me. Have a great week. Hope you have lots of opportunities to play the guitar. Hope it's not too hot where you are. Take care of yourselves. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, everybody. See ya.